Sam, to you, I mean, it does for advertising, which if you feel now the media planning, but do you think will that undergo a big change? You know, one way the earlier was that you had the people rating TAM coming out with reports on linear television, with computers and everything else. Do you think that it'll be now a much more meaningful exercise, much more planning to be done, of saying where people are consuming, what are they consuming, what timings are they doing, and how do your ads, how would you move as advertising move in this world?
Well, I must tell you, Samir, there's a lot of talk about new media, and I've been hearing this for the last 20 years, but adoption in India has been low. I fully agree that adoption is now going to step up. There is absolutely no doubt about it. But if you're talking about pure advertising, today advertising in new media is, if you exclude search, is about 600, 700 crores out of a total of 25,000 crores. Print and linear television, as you call it, accounts for 85% of that. So I'm sure as new media and as new technologies come up, measurement systems will sort of stay aboard, and hopefully as advertisers, they will give us data on who is watching what where. That's all that we need. It doesn't matter to us whether they're watching it in a linear fashion or in a non-linear fashion, because I presume when it is watched in non-linear fashion, I will also get the ability to slot it not in a linear way, but in a non-linear way.
You'll have to work a bit harder, because naturally you will have to plan that.
We're used to doing that. If we can handle 500 channels and 3,000 publications,
right.
I guess one more dimension won't make so much of a difference.
But Sam, I agree with you that we talked about new media. It really hasn't happened. But you look at today, you look at the US, if you look at it, and assuming, all what the ministers, TRI chairman, secretary have said, you're talking about 2014 or 13, the real date, assuming it's a 1 year late, where you're saying you will then have digitalization, you will have wired broadband, right? You will have wireless broadband, both in 3G and 4G. 3G I can understand there's a video limitation, but 4G would change even that too. So if you do have that, and assuming that you are now actually in the US, now where Google and everybody else have tremendous revenue, so it's very different than what India is today. Now, assuming 3 years later, I think India could leapfrog. We've done it in telecom. If these things happen, you could do that.
I have no doubt that it'll leapfrog. But remember, even in US today, for all their broadband penetration and everything, television is still a very strong medium. Linear television is still a very strong medium. Super Bowl is still Super Bowl. And I think out of US's $200 billion, at least I think 60 to 70 billion dollars is coming from linear television in US today.
Agreed. So linear television hasn't changed if you look at it. That's a saving grace for our broadcasters. Do you think also in India will follow the same? Or do you think India could go differently?
I think obviously, from now on, if everything that I heard today is going to come true, and as fast as a year from now or 2 years from now, obviously the rate of change will be very high. And I agree with you that I think our jobs will become a little more difficult, and we'll have to change our mindset, we'll have to change our approaches. I would only say I do hope that all these people who drive the change also keep an eye or provide for adequate measurement systems, so that we can get data on who is watching what where. Because I must caution you, Samir, that if that data does not come, then the advertiser will not support it. And I think this is a universal fact, and India will be no different. If a lot of people are watching ads on YouTube, the reason why YouTube is not able to monetize it as my friend here, is because on YouTube you don't get data on who is watching what, and therefore he collects the money. So tomorrow again, when all this happens, if there is no systematic panel data that we get, advertisers are not going to spend millions or billions of rupees just on some hearsay that yes, everyone is watching YouTube now, so I'm going to divert money and put there.